Violent, yes. But extremist, maybe not. Hi guys, Greg Johnston, occupational therapist and CEO of Southeastern Support Care Services. Today I want to talk to you about a very valuable lesson that I learned many years ago from a little boy. The reason I'm thinking about his story right now is because of recent events in the United States, in our capital. On this channel, I don't like to talk about politics for one very good reason. I don't want to alienate people who can benefit from the things that I'm sharing. So I do want that to be understood, but politics does serve as a backdrop for the story that I'm going to tell, and you'll understand pretty soon. So when I went to one of my schools to serve a group of students, they were young children, probably like 5 to 7 or 8 years old. I worked with several of them on handwriting skills, and I was using at the time this program called Handwriting Without Tears, and it has a little notebook and some wood pieces, a little small chalkboard, some sponge, little sponge type things, and creates very interesting activity to do, especially for the kids who don't get to be involved in it. So I went into this classroom, and one thing I would notice is that there was a little boy who would often become very aggressive with other students or with the teachers in the classroom when I was there. And he wasn't someone that I typically worked with, but because of his behaviors, sometimes I would get involved in helping to keep him from harming himself and harming other people. But one of the things that became a regular occurrence was whenever I would get set up and I would start working with the other students, he would inevitably have issues. And so one day I went into the room, and I had my station set up. I put everything up in kind of in an order so that I could work with my students in a fairly efficient way. And then almost like clockwork, this young man began to display these aggressive behaviors. On this particular day, I was asked to help out because he was having a hard time. He was not responding well to the teachers, and so I got in a position where basically I tried to keep him in a seat without hurting him, without him hurting me, and you could just feel him just really fighting me. And for such a young child, he was really strong, much stronger than you would expect for someone so small. Like I said, maybe he was 7 years old. I don't remember exactly. But anyways, this is where he taught me a really valuable lesson. He fought and fought and fought, and I did not think he was ever going to quit. But as he slowed down, I started talking to him. And one thing that's very important to know about him is that he was nonverbal. So he wasn't expressing himself with his language. And I started talking to him, and I said, okay, in a minute, I'm going to let you go. Can you show me what you want? And so I kind of very carefully released him. And when he was free, he did not react aggressively. He went very calmly and sat at the chair that I had set up for my kids to work on handwriting. He wanted to be a part of that program. And it just really hit me. Maybe this is not everything that's going on with this kid, but one reason he is being aggressive is that no one's listening to him. He's not being heard. And when he was heard, we were able to meet his need in a way that was, that he felt listened to, and he got to do what he wanted to do. And it just makes me think about, now in the U.S. we've had people from multiple different political persuasions who've been involved in in violent behaviors and in aggression. So they've attacked people, or they've overrun the police. They've committed various acts of violence. Whether you condone it or not is really not my point. But I think that a common factor between, say, Black Lives Matter and the group that stormed the Capitol was that they perceived that they were not being heard. Now, you can argue whether or not they're truly being heard, but that perception of not being heard leads to frustration. And when people don't have that valve to let off steam, to express themselves in a way that they feel like they're heard, oftentimes they resort to aggression, physical violence, because they don't know what else to do. So when we're working with people who have disabilities, particularly people who have communication challenges, we should be very careful that we don't judge aggressive behaviors as someone who's like antisocial or something like that. Maybe what's going on is they're struggling to communicate and we're struggling to hear them. And I think we'd all do better if we could listen to each other, give a platform for people to be heard, even if you don't agree with them, because the alternative is bad news for everyone. Anyways, that's my thought for today. I hope this story is helpful to you guys, makes you think about how you treat each other and how you interact with people who have disabilities around you, particularly those who have difficulties with communication. So I want you guys to take care, and I'll see you on the next one. All right.